Liverpool for a moment looked like, they looked strangers for a second on the page. Forgetting that they won the trophy and there was something to really play for. It went down into history. Some few clubs have won the title and the next game, decide not to really win important games. But let's focus on Chelsea. For the teams that are wanting to stay in the top, now to be 6 teams playing, 7 teams playing in Europe, 6 playing in the UEFA Champions League, isn't it?
It depends if Man United win the Europa League or Tottenham Hotspur win the Europa League.
They are in the final.
I think it's
5.
It's 6 Champions League.
Yeah.
Then it will be 2 Europa League and 1 Conference League, I believe. Yeah. I think that's what it is.
So 5 automatically.
5 automatically.
And another depending on who wins the Europa League, that will be 6.
Right, but because it's 2 English teams.
2 English teams, so right now it's 6.
It's 6 because they are both now in the Champions League place. I think based on if Chelsea win the Conference League, then I don't think that English team will play in the Conference League.
Yeah.
I think that's what they will do. But
anyway, they'll swap it.
Yeah. But it also also depends on what these people do. Crystal Palace.
Crystal
Palace and City.
So it means it's still getting heated in that top 5
A lot of chaos.
No. And of course, other clubs will be super excited that it's Chelsea and Newcastle United, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because one is certainly dropping
If
points.
they play a 1-1, I think the rest of England will celebrate if they play a 1-1 because it will give them the chance to gain ground. But the way I see it, my Newcastle analysis for the rest of the season is simple. If they are at home, they will win.
Yeah.
If they are playing away, I'm not sure.
This is how the St. James
once they are playing at home, they are going to win. That's just how I see it because they are very good at home. They are very convincing. But when they go away from home, you don't know what to expect. Sometimes they have good games, sometimes they don't. So home games, Newcastle for sure. I'm very I almost guarantee they'll win. They are that type of team recently. So. And for Chelsea, you don't know what Chelsea will turn up. You don't know whether they'll make some mistakes. You don't know how well they'll play. So for me, I'm just going to back Newcastle in this game. Very simply. I expect them to win. I'll be surprised if they don't. Very surprised, actually. So, and I'll be here on Sunday on Scorecard to say whether I'm surprised or whether it's exactly what I expected. So.
Okay, great. I mean, on the back of that, who would you want to see in UEFA Champions League football? Nicholas Jackson or an Isak?
Oh, Isak. I'm an idealist. And if I'm to pick between strikers, Isak and Nicholas Jackson, I'll definitely go for Alexander Isak because he's the whole package. I mean, he's clinical. His dribbling ability is on point. He's fast. And he knows how to play as a striker, modern day striker. And he's versatile enough in terms of he being able to contribute to the passing game when they are building up attacks. And like I said, he's a full package. I mean, he's everything you would want to have in a striker.
I know you hate numbers.
He has great height too. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
If I have to pick between those two, I'll definitely pick Alexander Isak, no question.
What will be your rating? I know you hate numbers. So rate them as in 10. Jackson, the attribute you used in describing Isak. You put Jackson and Isak.
Yeah, well, to be fair to Jackson, I mean, he's not grown to the level of Isak. I mean, Isak is quite experienced. He's bounced around a little bit from Dortmund to Real Sociedad, coming to Newcastle. I mean, he's not too raw like Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson, he's played at Villarreal, he's played at Chelsea, but you can tell that there's a touch of rawness to his game. He's not as refined as Alexander Isak. So to be fair to him, I wouldn't bash him too much because of the rawness that is still in his game. But if I'm to rate Alexander Isak, I'll give him what? 8/10. As a striker, I'll give him 8/10. I mean, Erling Haaland, I'll give him 9. He would be a 10, but unfortunately, he doesn't play well. So
who's just a question, as you're going about your rating, who are the people you would give 10 over the last 10 years? as a striker.
Last 10 years.
10 years.
Last 10
I
years.
mean, it will take me winding all over because the game has evolved over the past 10 years.
No, that's Erling Haaland. In the
this is who you give a 10.
consistency, the
Who do I
number
give a
of goals
10?
he
I'll
gets
give
per
a 10
season.
to Robert Lewandowski. I'll give a 10 to Harry Kane because they perform the role of a traditional centre.
I think I'll give it to Haaland too.
A traditional. I won't give him a
So for
10.
consistency's sake,
I
Haaland.
I'll give him a 10 as a goal scorer, but striking is not just goal scoring.
Yeah, I wouldn't give Erling Haaland a 10 because he does not help out with a passing game and he doesn't play well with his back to goal.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't give him a 10. But I'll give Robert Lewandowski a 10. I'll give Harry Kane a 10 because they play well with their backs to goal. They do excellent work when it comes to the passing game. Sustaining attacks, and on top of that, their finishing ability is on point.
Fantastic.
And they are great goal scorers.
And they're great goal scorers.
The numbers don't lie.
So those are the ones that I'll give a 10. But Erling Haaland, I'll give a 10. Isak, I'll give an 8. Nicholas Jackson, I'll give him a 7. And fast rising if he continues down this path. But for this game, yes, like Susu said, I'm rocking with Newcastle because of their home form and their ability to step up in front of their fans when it is needed. But just a quick one. I looked at the highlights of the Chelsea-Liverpool game, and it is clear why Ancelotti didn't trust some players like Jarrell Kwanzaa and Kostas Tsimikas. Because you look at the roles they played in the lead-up to those goals that Chelsea scored. It wasn't the best.
But great. Let's go for this quick break. Welcome back to the Premier League preview show on Channel 1 TV. I am Bernard Abeko-Ochre, Yao J. Minta here, and Susu Graham as well. We've been talking about a number of issues. So we left off from the St. James Park, talking about Chelsea and what they can do there. The coach, Ed Howe, has gotten a very fantastic record, up against this side. Now, I'll read something out to you. The Newcastle boss has endured, some modest successes against the Blues throughout his managerial career. So winning 7, drawing 2, and losing 11. That might just quite speak, something of that team wanting to play in European football. They've done it before. They didn't believe the manager. He came into the fold, and he seemed to be doing what the fans have been asking for a moment. The two managers now, I want us to pay attention to. Who do you think is winning this? Because now he's gotten to the mind game bit of the league.
If we're talking about them as managers, is Eddie Howe all the way? Because he came into a Newcastle team that was destined for relegation. Came in to try and reinvigorate the team. He exceeded expectations. If you remember, that Newcastle team, they flew up the table. Finished, I think, was it 11th? From a team that everyone thought would be relegated. The second half of the season, they were like, from the point he came, got them into the top 4 the next season, the Champions League. Okay, the Champions League didn't go well. They regressed a bit. They would have been in Europe if not for Man U winning the FA Cup last season. They would have been playing, I think, in the Conference League. Then he's now flying them up the table again. They're on course to finish in the Champions League places. And they've won their first domestic trophy in 70 years or something. So I think, look, Eddie Howe, what he's done at Newcastle is super impressive. I think when you're a Chelsea manager and you don't win a trophy, that's a failure. Because we've seen Chelsea that when you come, things are not going well. They can even sack the manager halfway through the season. And then the replacements win the League Cup or the Europa. I mean, Benitez win the Europa League with Chelsea when he came in or something like that.
The Europa League.
Is it
Benitez won something.
I think it was the Super Cup.
But Benitez has won things when he came in. We've seen this guy come in, Di Matteo, win the Champions League. We saw Conte, League first season. We've seen Ancelotti, League and Cup double first season.
Goose heading,
so winning things with Chelsea is the bare minimum. But we've not seen that from Enzo Maresca. I know it's a new Chelsea, things have changed, but there's a standard we hold Chelsea to. So for me, from what I've seen in their managerial careers, I think Eddie Howe is ahead of Enzo Maresca.
But Maresca can win the Conference League.
Oh, but look at the teams they are facing in the Conference League.
I mean, they are playing Real Betis in the
this
final.
This is their first match that I'll say that they are actually playing a match I feel like they can lose. Did you think they were going to lose any of the matches they played?
Yesterday in the newsroom.
Jay Garden,
come on. Myself and Yao, together with some of the Chelsea folks, how are inclusive, we're watching the United game, And then, you know, as part of the argument, I was just saying that, look, there's no trophy.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it's a trophy any manager wants, the
United
Conference League.
played difficult teams. Look at United played Lyon, they played Club Athletic.
Real Sociedad.
They played
yeah.
These are teams that if Chelsea had played in the Conference League, it would have made me feel like, okay, this is a...
Yeah, so you feel they haven't been tested enough?
They haven't been tested. For Chelsea's level and the teams they've played and what we expect of Chelsea, this is not a test. If you get what I'm saying. For Sociedad and other teams, you know, if you think for Betis and Fiorentina, for example, these are the type of teams you expect Betis and Fiorentina to play because they are not elite European clubs. Absolutely. They are the clubs that finish 7th and 8th in their leagues regularly and that kind of stuff. When Betis have a season they finish in the top 4, it's a big deal for that club. You see what I'm saying? Fiorentina, when they have a top 4 season, it's a big deal for that club. But for Chelsea, come on, let's be honest about the standards we know Chelsea to have. It's not about, look, you have to beat what's in front of you. All credit to Enzo Maresca. But the standards I expect from Chelsea, they should win the Conference League easily. It shouldn't even be something Chelsea should win the Conference League.
Well, Anthony is on form.
Oh. That's why I'm saying that's Chelsea's standard. Win the Champions. But you see,
I'm thinking, also, okay, so if they don't win the Conference League and they miss out on the Champions League, should he get sacked?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. But it's going to be an interesting...
You established initially that he came in not long ago. He's from Championship. He got a team promoted. Then he got a Premier League club. If he doesn't make Champions League football, he doesn't win the Conference League.
They brought you in to make progress. The first guy...
No, but they got about 50-something plus players, and he had to shrink that down to get a proper starting.
Pochettino shrank it down. How much did he have to do? Pochettino shrank it down. Pochettino was the one who made them competitive. He got them into the Conference League. I think, did they get to the FA Cup and semi-final and the League Cup final last season?
Yes, last season.
Where have they got in domestic trophies, this Chelsea team? They've regressed, they've regressed in the domestic trophies. Okay, they're a bit better in the league. But the fall off in the second half of the season is not good enough. So for me, by Chelsea standards, Champions League and Conference League, he should qualify for the Champions League, he should win the Conference League, or he's failed this season. I can understand that, okay, maybe it's progress, you want to give him more time. But my personal opinion is that he's not met expectations. So if he's sacked, it's very fair. Maybe they won't say, okay, we want some stability, let's let him see what he does in the next season. That's fine. But for the standards of Chelsea, it's a sackable offense to not win the Conference League and nothing. Or am I lying?
Oh yeah,
I mean, if you agree, then that's points made. So it's Newcastle up against Chelsea at the St James Park.